Vikings was a very popular Netflix drama series and ran for 6 seasons with 89 episodes. Set in the 11th century, the series followed the life of the legendary Viking Ragnar Lothbrok and his family, who it is claimed started the Viking raids on England. Much of the series was centered on the Viking trading port of Kattegat, which was for a time ruled by Ragnar Lothbrok as Jarl and then subsequently by Lagertha his wife. The casting followed the accepted traditional look of the Vikings. Vikings was followed by a follow-on series, Vikings Valhalla, which was set some 100 years after the death of Ragnar Lothbrok. In that series, the ruler of Kattegat, Jarl Hakon, was played by a black woman. The fact that Jarl Hakon was black played no part in the storyline, and it seems that this was no more than an attempt to include diversity into the series. It is clear that having a diverse cast is important, and it can be seen in almost all new series being produced. But at what point does diversity clash with historical fact and start to distort reality? It is true that Vikings did venture far beyond their borders and may have reached the southern Mediterranean and possibly North Africa. But to stretch this into making the ruler of one of the most important Viking settlements of the time black seems to be going a step too far.
In Scandinavia, the same thing happened with many people, especially with darker and browner eyes and hair, products of different ethnic crossings between diverse European and Asian populations. But specifically, is there evidence of black Africans' sub-Saharan ancestry in Iron Age ancient Scandinavia? The answer is no.
There is in fact historical reference to a Jarl Hakon, but he was a white man. Films and the entertainment industry in general can have a meaningful impact on the opinions of people. Cast enough black actors in roles such as this, and a large portion of the population will begin to believe that in fact there were black Vikings and that they were accepted and treated as equals as is depicted in the series. Bridgerton is a popular series on Netflix and shows a number of black actors playing the role of English aristocrats. Of course, this is a far cry from the truth about how racist and intolerant the English aristocracy were, and quite probably still are. Many who watch Bridgerton may come away with the impression that blacks in this period had normal equal rights. The danger here is that in trying to add diversity to the entertainment industry, we are actually whitewashing history and created a benign picture that did not exist. In doing so, we will be doing the biggest disservice to the black community. The horrific and abusive conditions that they were forced to endure should never be whitewashed, and the entertainment industry must be careful not to promote such ideas. Of course, we cannot have black actors only depicting the historical misery that they were forced to live in. But instead of distorting history in such a manner, why not make TV shows about real black people who have shaped the world today? Thomas Sankara, Haile Selassie, Thabo Mbeki, Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba. I am sure that many of you have never heard of these people, but each of them deserves their place in history. Patrice Lumumba was the first Prime Minister of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Before his election, the Congo was a colony of Belgium. King Leopold II oversaw one of the most brutal occupations of the period, and as many as 10 million Congolese were killed. Lumumba was an African nationalist and played a significant role in the transformation of the Congo into an independent republic. His progressive and anti-colonialist policies irked the former colonial power. He was murdered in 1961 with the help of Belgian partisans under the control of the government of Belgium. In 2002, Belgium formally apologized for its role in his execution.
At an isolated house in the bush, Katanga ministers and some Belgians subjected what was left of Lumumba to further beatings. The three men were then driven to a remote area, executed and buried in shallow graves. The next day, the bodies were exhumed, cut up and dissolved in sulfuric acid. No identifiable trace of Lumumba and his companions remained. Patrice Lumumba was only 35 years old. This announcement triggered a violent worldwide reaction. Belgian and American embassies were attacked, and there was a riot in the spectators' gallery of the United Nations Security Council. Following his death, Patrice Lumumba became a national and African hero. To this day, especially for oppressed people, Lumumba stars as a martyr to colonialism and as a symbol for the fight against Western capitalism and greed.
These are stories worth telling. Instead, we get Tarzan. There have been countless numbers of different Tarzan movies over the years. Of course, none of them tell a completely plausible story of an African child getting lost and becoming Lord of the Jungle. No, it has to be a white English aristocrat who gets airdropped into the deepest part of the jungle only to become its ruler and have all the animals and natives tremble at his feet. Really? No one sees this as racist?